He is the man who could have sat in the chair of China instead of Xi Jinping, if he had not been defeated in the power struggle in 2012. Is a crown prince party. The son of Bo Yibo, one of the 8 elders of the Chinese Communist Party. Like Xi, Bo Xilai family was also exiled during the Cultural Revolution. But after Mao Zedong's death, they quickly restored their position. Backed by Jiang Zemin, 2003, Bo Xilai became governor of Liaoning province. And quickly, promotion. By 2007, he held the position of secretary of Chongqing province, and became a shining star as a leading candidate for the position of president of China. But despite flaunting his power through anti-gang campaigns to demonstrate absolute power, but Bo Xilai still could not foresee the danger of Xi Jinping, a hidden dragon. And then in 2012, when his corruption and abuse of power scandals were exposed, the dream of power was shattered, and Bo Xilai finally paid with his freedom, tasting the bitterness of life behind prison. Welcome to L Global Lens. The true destiny of the emperor. Bo Xilai was born into one of the most legendary revolutionary families in Chinese history. From a young age, Bo Xilai grew up in a world of power. In Chinese politics, power comes not only from individual talent, but also from nurturing families like the Bo family, where relationships are calculated, and every step is arranged to create solid paths for advancement. Bo Xilai was destined to step into the highest positions of power. It can be seen that he has his whole family behind, placed in the best positions for his official career to develop. But the Bo family has not always been at the pinnacle of power. In 1960, when the Cultural Revolution broke out, Bo Xilai family was caught up in the brutal vortex of political violence. Bo Yibo's father was imprisoned, his mother committed suicide, and Bo Xilai himself had to endure years of harsh labor and re-education. After the Cultural Revolution ended, Bo Xilai returned to politics, with a solid foundation from his family, and a deep understanding of the political system. He quickly promoted through the ranks, gradually climbing the ladder of power in the Chinese Communist Party. From lowly positions in the locality, Bo Xilai gradually asserted himself as an indispensable figure in China's substantial political apparatus. Throughout the 1980s and 1992, Bo Xilai worked tirelessly to assert himself within the Chinese Communist Party. When he took office as Chongqing Party Secretary in 2007, he turned the city into a fortress of power alone, where he could call the shots. With the ambition to consolidate power, the anti-gang campaign he launched was not simply a war on crime. It was a ruthless purge of power. Bo Xilai did not hesitate to remove anyone who dared to stand in his way. With the anti-gang campaign, Bo Xilai has built a formidable power machine, a sharp political tool to eliminate opponents and consolidate his position. He not only fights against criminals, but also uses this campaign to wipe out those who dare to threaten his dominance. All opposing forces, big or small, are faced with a harsh choice: either to obey or be ruthlessly eliminated. It can be seen that the starting point of both opponents, Xi Jinping and Bo Xilai, are similar, and they seem to be on the same path. Both have political careers tied to local level positions before stepping up to higher leadership positions. However, compared to his opponent, Xi Jinping, at that time, Bo Xilai was completely superior when Xi Jinping was elected vice president of China in 2008. Bo Xilai was also one of the top leaders of the party. He had publicly supported Xi Jinping's promotion. They were once considered essential allies of the Chinese Communist Party. It should be remembered that in China's power apparatus, high positions in the government are not necessarily as important as positions in the party. And so, Bo Xilai, although only the secretary of the Chongqing Municipal Party Committee, his position was not inferior to Xi Jinping when he was the vice president. Supporting Xi Jinping helped Bo Xilai build essential alliances in the government. Xi Jinping supported Bo Xilai approval to implement many initiatives to vigorously develop Chongqing into one of the most developed and important cities in China. especially in the anti-Black Eagle campaigns against crime and corruption. In return, Xi Jinping also received significant benefits from Bo Xilai in the internal power race within the party. However, from friend to foe, the confrontation between the dragon and the tiger began to become tense. When Xi Jinping came to power after the 18th National Congress of the Communist Party of China in 2012. And this time, he officially applied the policy of fighting tigers and killing FLIs, fighting corruption more strictly. Xi Jinping not only wanted to consolidate power, but also wanted to eliminate potential rivals and figures who could threaten his leadership. And Bo Xilai became the fat tiger of this hunting campaign. Xi Jinping and his allies exploited the scandal involving Wang Lijian, former Chongqing police chief and close ally of Bo Xilai, to betray Bo Xilai. This case not only exposed severe many corruption problems, but also led to Bo Xilai dismissal, investigation, and finally, his trial with a life sentence. Anti-gang campaign. Anti-gang campaign was not only a strategic move for him to demonstrate his determination to fight corruption and crime, and build a strong image of power in the public eye, but it also helped to consolidate his power network. Recognizing the potential of Wang Lijian, who was then the director of the Chongqing Municipal Public Security Bureau, Bo Xilai promoted him to the position of deputy mayor in charge of public security, giving Wang Lijian almost absolute power in running the police forces and investigative activities related to the anti-gang campaign. With the support of Wang Lijian, Bo Xilai quickly turned this campaign into a sharp political tool. When all the tactics were carefully prepared, Bo Xilai gave the green light for the security forces to act. The anti-gang campaign, also known as the anti-gang storm, began to enter its most intense phase, marking the most extensive purge of organized crime from 1949 to 2010. Chongqing authorities have closely coordinated with each other to target the weak points of mafia-style criminal gangs, with the motto of fighting quickly and handling thoroughly. The duo of Bo Xilai and Wang Lijian agreed that, from the time of arrest to the time of bringing the gangs to trial, everything must be completed within a year. July 10, 2009, the war against crime in Chongqing was officially launched with the tactic of encircling the outer ring, gradually tightening and penetrating deep into the core of criminal organizations, like peeling layers of an onion. Wang Lijian directly commanded the police force, dividing it into many attack points, starting with individual criminals, then gradually reaching more big umbrellas. In less than 3 months, from July 10, 2009 to September 30, 2009, more than 3,200 cases were broken and dealt with. 9,512 people were arrested and tried. Among the most prominent cases were the gangs of Yang Tianqing, Liu Changhu, and Liu Zhongyang. 3 ringleaders led a notorious criminal organization, with over 1,000 members in Chongqing City. Less than 3 months after their arrest, all 3 were sentenced to death for the crimes of leading a mafia gang, committing organized crime, and intentional murder. In addition, 1,544 other members related to this gang were also arrested and prosecuted before the law. The anti-gang campaign not only dismantled the criminal gangs in a short time, but also brought to light the big umbrellas hidden behind them, and a series of officials in the public sector accused of protecting the gangs, accepting bribes and corruption. After arresting local gangs, the task force led by Bo Xilai and Wang Lijian began to target larger economic-related criminal groups, such as the Chongqing pork market manipulation, gang leader Wang Tianlun and Chen Mingliang. Bo Xilai's ambitious show of cleaning up Chongqing, while further consolidating his political position. But behind the curtain of the campaign to fight the Black Eagles were acts of scheming, abuse of power, and brutality. Wang Lijian, under Bo Xilai's direction, carried out crackdowns on criminal gangs, but he also carried out fierce internal purges. Many business people, officials, and innocent people were targeted, with more than 10,000 individuals arrested. Trials were quick and lacked transparency, with harsh sentences handed down without clear evidence. Those arrested often had no chance to defend themselves. Many were subjected to torture to force them to admit to crimes they may not have committed. These confessions, despite being obtained under torture, were used to justify death or life sentences. On the other side, in addition to eliminating external rivals, Xilai also used this campaign to purge internally those who were disloyal or potentially threatening his position. There were about 200 senior officials and leaders who were suspected of being disloyal or showing signs of siding with political opponents who were purged under the name of the anti-gang campaign. Among them, Wu Bencheng, a powerful real estate businessman, became the top target. Although there was no clear evidence of his illegal economic activities, Xilai fabricated allegations of corruption and illicit activities to destroy Wu Bencheng. The case against Wu Bencheng was cleverly arranged from investigation to trial. Weak and unfounded evidence was used to convict him. Wu Bencheng was detained, and his assets were confiscated and distributed to people close to Xilai. This action was not only to destroy Wu Bencheng, but also created fear in the business and political circles, reminding them that anyone who did not stand by their side would be punished mercilessly. The trial of Wu Bencheng was held in secret, without the presence of the press or the public. It demonstrated Xilai's blatant manipulation of the judicial system, and after his conviction, Wu Bencheng faced a lengthy prison sentence. His career was completely ruined, and he lost all his assets. It is not only a punishment for Wu Bencheng, but also a heavy blow to the business community of Chongqing, where power and wealth do not guarantee safety. If you do not stand on the right side. After Wu Bencheng was overthrown, fear spread among the business community in Chongqing. Many had to find ways to protect themselves by transferring assets abroad, or even leaving the city, to avoid becoming the next victim, a fall from grace in the political game. However, while sitting on the heights of power and fame, Xilai could not have imagined the heights he had built would become the bottomless pit for a painful fall from grace in the vicious power game of Chinese politics. With his bottomless ambition and cunning calculations, Xilai has gradually become a dangerous threat to the party's senior leaders. When the relationship with Wang Lijian, his trusted right-hand man, in the anti-gang campaign, began to crack, then, his dirty secrets began to surface. One of the most shocking cases involving Xilai was the death of Neil Heywood, a British businessman. The relationship between Neil Heywood and Xilai family started with mutual benefits. Significantly, when Neil Heywood helped Gu Kailai, Xilai's wife, and also a famous lawyer and businesswoman, to carry out complex international business transactions. In addition, Neil Heywood also played an essential role in helping Xilai's son, Guagua, get accepted into prestigious schools in the UK. But the seemingly close relationship gradually became strained when Neil Heywood began to demand a more significant percentage of the profits from the transactions he helped Gu Kailai carry out. And this makes her feel threatened, fearing that Neil Heywood might use her family's financial secrets to pressure or harm the future of her husband and son. And that's where the tragedy began. 2011's Neil Heywood was suddenly found dead in a hotel in Chongqing. The initial cause was announced as alcohol poisoning, but this incident immediately aroused suspicion in the international community, especially from the UK. And the truth was only really revealed when Wang Lijian, Xilai's right-hand man, and then the director of the Chongqing Provincial Police, realized that Xilai's dictatorship and ambition, along with his family, could make Wang himself the next target in the political purges. Because he knew too many of Bo's secrets, Wang suddenly ran to the consulate in Chengdu in February 2012, where Wang revealed that Gu Kailai had personally poisoned Neil Heywood with cyanide to protect the family's secrets and her husband's power. This incident caused a huge political shock, forcing the Chinese central government to launch a thorough investigation. Gu Kailai was then immediately arrested and brought to trial on 2012. In court, she admitted to murdering Neil Heywood because she feared he would harm her son. She was sentenced to death, but the sentence was deferred. But many believe there is more to the truth. This case involved more than just a simple murder. It also involved a complex political background. The fall of Xilai brought down Xilai's entire power empire. He was sacked as a result, investigated, and convicted for corruption, abuse of power, and a decadent lifestyle. But not only for this murder case. Xilai was also involved in a series of serious corruption allegations. A typical example, he was once alleged to have received at least $70 million in bribes from business people and investors, with these funds mainly transferred through offshore bank accounts and shell companies. These vast sums of money are said to have helped him license and protect businesses. During his time in power in Chongqing, Xilai was not only feared by people because of the vast sums of money, but also because of his tumultuous love relationships. These extramarital relationships not only raised doubts about his morality and integrity, but also caused him to be ostracized by his allies and political partners. In the end, Xilai, who had manipulated power in his hands, who had feared no one on the battlefield, had to face a tragic end. The man who once stood at the pinnacle of power, seemingly unshakable, now collapsed in loneliness and shame, extremely humiliated. Xilai once thought that, with his family background as a crown prince party and his ruthless strategies, he could hold his destiny forever. But the harsh reality proved otherwise. The absolute power that Xilai once boasted of had harmed him. The price of bottomless greed, insatiable cruelty, eventually pushed Xilai into a situation of being imprisoned in the dark and having to face with the terrible consequences of his actions.